What does it take to write a really good LinkedIn post? Is it all about the first line? Or is it about being super authentic? Most of us think we know what it takes. But when it comes down to clicking publish, it usually goes one of two ways. You either read over it again, start questioning yourself, and end up never hitting publish. Or you click publish, thinking you've nailed it, only for it to completely flop. But then, there are some people, the ones you see over and over again as you scroll through LinkedIn during work hours. They write posts that stop you, the kind that make your head nod as you read. And not only do they get massive engagement and followers, their posts bring in revenue and open doors you didn't even know existed. Today, I'm sitting down with one of them.
Welcome to the Aspiring Founder Series, where I'm going to be interviewing the most switched on business owners to see what it really takes to grow in today's market. Today, I'm sitting down with a man who built a 7-figure social media agency all through his personal brand on LinkedIn. We're about to sit down and figure out exactly how he did it, so you can steal it for your own growth. Let's go. Stanley Henry, thank you for taking this interview today.
Thanks for having me.
A lot of people look up to you in the marketing industry, so it's a big thing for me to get this interview, so thank you very much.
It's good. My pleasure, man.
What time do you start today?
I got in at 6:30 this morning.
6:30, and what time are you going to finish?
I should finish on time today, 5:30.
It's a nice 11-hour day.
Yeah, if you put it like that,
Normal for you.
I don't know how else you'd put it.
Yeah.
That was pretty normal. We had a call with the US this morning, so that's why I was in early.
Nice.
Yeah.
And your US, you've done a bit of work in New York?
Yep, New York. This particular client's based in Dallas.
Yeah.
But yeah, done a bit of work in the US. US is a big expansion area for us as a business. It's just, US is huge.
Of course.
Yeah.
How was it like when you went over?
Amazing. New York is literally one of the coolest cities in the world. I could see myself living there pretty long term. Lots of opportunity, lots of people. It's kind of like one of those spaces which it attracts the best of the best from everywhere. And you only can kind of hang around there if you actually are trying.
Yeah.
So people who are kind of hoping for the best, they get chewed up and spit out. But everyone who's hustling and trying to push, New York really like holds on to them, nurtures them, puts people around them and helps them grow.
Yeah.
It isn't a city that's like cutthroat trying to beat each other. It's a city trying to go, are you going to put in the effort? If so, I'll help you grow too.
What do you think the difference between, say, somewhere like New Zealand is?
To be honest, the only real difference, apart from that selection bias, that there's a bunch of people who are all really ambitious. Auckland's probably not known for attracting highly ambitious people to it. Maybe from the rest of the country, but not necessarily from the world. So apart from that selection bias, the only real difference is that the ceiling or the glass ceiling above people in New York is much higher. A $2 million a year business in New York could realistically try and grow to a $2 billion company. That can't happen in New Zealand if you only stay in New Zealand. As soon as you're a $2 billion company, you're one of the biggest companies in New Zealand. A $2 billion company in the US is just starting to be big. So that's probably the big difference. Like the thought or the investment into their world is so much higher because they see so much more opportunity.
Yeah. I think there's obviously a ceiling for growth, right? In New Zealand, there's only so many people, so that's
tiny.
Eventually the next step.
Oh, there's more people on Manhattan than there is in New Zealand, Yeah.
How many coffees have you had today, by the way?
This is my third one.
Third one?
Yeah.
When you first started, you said you're doing 5 coffees a day.
Yeah.
6 days a week.
Yeah.
How does your heart take that up, man?
Oh, man, I got a big heart. I'm a big boy.
Clearly.
I'm ex-hospo, right? So I grew up on the stuff.
Yeah.
It needs it, like my heart needs it to survive kind of thing.
Yeah. I
need the bitterness, to offset my heart and keep it from being icy cold. But also for me, I really enjoy the taste of it and I've just gotten used to it. It's become a bit more of a comfort thing, if anything.
Are you drinking straight black?
Yeah, I drink long blacks.
Yeah.
I used to drink espressos. The only reason I don't drink espresso as much anymore is because I have time to sit and enjoy it now.
Nice.
When I used to run hotels, you don't have time to sit around in a hotel. You couldn't do this in a hotel.
No.
There's beds to be made, rubbish to be picked up,
You
meals to
wouldn't
be
be
served.
getting interviewed by some
Yeah, well, that's it.
23-year-old.
That's it. You know, so now I've got time. I can sit back, enjoy a long black, and just enjoy it.
When you started this business,
Mm.
obviously you weren't drinking the coffees for the
Yeah.
taste. You're
Yeah.
doing it to meet people, right? How important was that sort of networking phase when you
Oh, it's
started?
everything there. It's the foundation of every business. Like, if you don't do it, you just won't. Like, if you weren't doing these sorts of the thing for you meeting me here doing this isn't the content.
Mm.
That's not the benefit of it. You getting to meet me is building a rapport with me, building a relationship with me, someone that is just a little bit ahead of you that can potentially open doors for you or whatever, right?
Yeah.
That's the benefit of this. The content's secondary.
Mm.
And a lot of people get that mixed up the other way around. They think, oh, nah, I'm going to make all this great content and I'm leverage Stan's brand to grow my brand or whatever. But like, realistically, the relationships you build is the most important part. It's the foundation of every business. Then above that is your personal brand.
Yeah.
But those relationships and reputation is why most B2B businesses, especially, will talk about their business growing from referrals, because it's where so much business comes from.
Mm. Yeah, I think that's one thing that I really learned in my last business was it was all done through networking, and it like put us into positions where, you know, it made us grow and realize how important it is to build these relationships. Like first thing we started was talking to a friend's mate who was in business, and he was nothing to do with our industry, but he put us onto someone, and then that just opened so many doors.
Oh, huge.
And it's so important for someone that's, you know, young and trying to figure their way out to talk to people.
Yeah.
But sometimes we don't understand how important it is.
Oh, no. Especially when you come up through the age of social media and you realize that you can reach millions of people by posting a video.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're like, well, I'll just do that and that'll make me rich or make me famous. But the reality is, like, even when you look at the biggest creators in the world, the reason they're making so much money is less about their audience and more about the people who are around them and the opportunities that they're presented. You take someone like Joni in our team, right? The fact that she grew in New Zealand meant that her opportunities were limited and she had to come work for me. You know, like, that's mental. She does 40, 50 million views a month. The creators at her level in the US and New York, I mean, they're earning $500,000 US a year, easy. But those opportunities aren't here because the people aren't around her to network with, even though she's getting the same attention. And a lot of her attention is in the US too. So it's not even like you could say, oh, well, you know, New Zealand audiences aren't as valuable and blah, blah. Most of her audience is US.
Yeah.
It's just that those people she needs to open the doors for her, she hasn't met. They're not around her. They're not close to her. It's too hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, 100%. You meet those people in real life. It doesn't matter. You can do all the content, all the things, but people still need other people to do business with.
When you're starting, like as a founder, we talked about this last time I had a coffee with you. It was very confronting because I learned a lot about myself and I walked out of there like really having something to think about, right?
Yeah.
Which is good, like, which is what I needed.
Stan's therapy sessions,
exactly. I actually went into it saying to myself, don't let this turn into a therapy session. I swear. And that's exactly what it turned into.
Yeah.
But how important is it to like find yourself and know who you are when you're building a business?
I think just in general for people, self-awareness is quite often an underappreciated skill that people don't have. And I think often you allow yourself to write your own version of who you are. And I think that is a little bit misguided. And the reason being is that you can only see certain things. You have blind spots. You don't see everything for yourself.
Yeah.
What I found over the years is that when I meet lots of young people, rather than like necessarily telling them exactly who they are, what I see from my outside perspective, I ask them a series of questions that helps them figure it out for themselves. Kind of a little bit what we did with you.
Yeah.
But also just questioning them, like asking why. Like, why do you think that? Like, prove it to me. Like, tell me how you know that.
Yeah.
What those start to do is it starts to uncover a little bit about themselves that they may have had a blind spot on, not quite sure. And I think once you start to uncover those, you understand like what drives you, what motivates you, what pushes you, what's stopping you from doing stuff, what's holding you back, what's your insecurities. I think human behavior is a really interesting piece of the puzzle for marketers, especially as well. So self-awareness is just about understanding human behavior, your own human behavior. In marketing in general, you're trying to understand human behavior to find out how like to put a message across to people and whatever. So I just think self-awareness, human behavior are just like really, really important skills that are not enough people are going into. Most marketers go into marketing going, I know how to do marketing. I didn't. I went into marketing knowing human behavior as a leader. And so most of my journey that I go through when I meet young people like yourself or my team, like Amy, like first week of meeting Amy, my new social media manager, was just like grilling her on what she knew and understanding where her limitations were so that we can help her grow. So yeah, self-awareness is huge. I've done a lot on it. I spend a lot of time on myself reflecting. I realize I know nothing about myself. And I just constantly try to learn more.
Especially like you get into these cycles of where you encounter a problem. Like it's like these self-destruction cycles and you keep doing the same thing. And then you realize like, okay, you have to look within yourself and really be self-aware. Which is what I found. Like after that conversation, I realized like, okay, I'm getting into these patterns, but it's because I'm treating it like this. I'm emotionally getting absorbed or whatever. Like you really have to look within yourself. So
it's hard. It's hard, but it's a skill worth pursuing. And it's also not something that you can get a lot of help with. It's not like publicly thing that you just like subscribe to and get stuff. Like you got to dig quite hard to find that help. But it's worth it.
You also move very quick. Like I've noticed, whether it's newsletters, content, everything, like it's quick. And where I get stuck is a lot of analysis paralysis. How do you overcome that sort of stuff?
Oh, well, I think analysis paralysis is an interesting term that people use because what are you analyzing?
There's nothing to analyze.
There's nothing to analyze, right? You got no data to analyze anyway. I also think it's not as complicated as people make out. Like I think a lot of people, and especially marketing or content, they're trying to make some like real big epiphany, like there's some smart creative strategists from Saatchi or something, right? And they're trying to pretend like, I'm the man, I know everything, right? And it's like, actually, it's just not that complicated. Like human behavior is pretty easy to understand about it. Like, does this thing interest me? Does it turn me on a little bit? Like, will I consume it?
What type of turn you on?
Hey?
Sorry?
What type of stuff turns me on? You want to know my fetishes? No, but but it is like when you read stuff or you consume stuff, it does turn you on a little bit in the sense of like, it gets you going. Like you think, fuck, this is like, there's an emotion here drawing out of you. That isn't that complex to understand. You just need to understand like the content needs to have that feeling for people and you just put it out and see if it does. And if it does straight away because the engagements or the reactions to it are. I think the problem that people have is they think they only have the one opportunity. And if they get it wrong, they won't have another one. But we know that's not true. And they know it's not true. Like you just speak to someone for long enough, they understand, well, that obviously isn't true because I can just post again tomorrow. And we've also seen people come back from the brink of like reputational damage to still be a hero in people's eyes. I mean, not that I support or condone any of this, but the fact that Kanye West still exists just shows you how crazy you can be.
Hey, it's his marketing strategy. Every album release.
I mean,
it's crazy.
He is crazy. Like actually, like rather than talking about him as in his brain, but like just what he's done is like despicable in his marketing recently. Yet people still buy into it because of what he does and who he is. So like the cancel culture thing that people talked about was full of it. What cancel culture was is someone made fun of me and I gave up. That's what cancel culture was. Look at Dave Chappelle. He went through the same thing. He just went, F you.
I mean,
I'm just going to keep going.
Every big creator that's gone through cancel culture and keep going, they've gotten way bigger.
They just become bigger. Look at the fucking Logan brothers or whatever they're, Paul brothers.
Yeah, exactly.
They did the same things.
And the other brothers.
Hey?
And the other brothers.
The other whatever brothers. There's heaps of them, man. They just, I think people over criticize themselves. They don't give things a go. I move at pace because I don't know the answer. And I'm trying to find it out. And I'm not going to find it out thinking about it. I'm going to go, here, let me go do a bunch of stuff, assess it and see what worked and what didn't. And then as it goes along, I'm going to analyze it then when I got data. Like just recently, like my viewership on LinkedIn plummeted like massively. It's gone like completely down. I was like, what's going on here? But then I pulled out some analysis and I was like, oh, so is my content shit recently? Like, am I writing? And that's usually the answer. If views are going down, your content's crap. Fix your content. But I had a look at it recently, and I plotted it over time, views versus engagement rate. And the engagement rate's been going through the roof as views have been dropping. So I'm getting just as much engagement, but I'm not getting the same viewerships. And that tells me something different, right? So now I'm not just going to throw all the baby out with the bathwater. I'm going to say, well, people are still enjoying this content. LinkedIn's just not wanting to show it to as many. So how do I fix that? But people don't do that. People go, oh, will people like that I use this word? Is this word right? That's analyzing the wrong thing.
Small data.
It's just so dumb. Just put it out, see what happens, go for it.
I mean, I did data science, so I understand how it works, right? But I guess what you're saying is we're analyzing the small, the tiniest of data that's irrelevant,
exactly,
rather than putting stuff out there and actually taking the bigger image. Obviously, on your LinkedIn, you've got 22,000 followers. You're top voice on LinkedIn. What do you think sets you apart to the other creators?
I think for me, the fact that I'm so open and raw on it, that I don't really hide a lot. I only have 2 rules with the team on the type of content for Tone of Voice is no politics, no religion. I don't talk about those 2 things. One, because I don't know enough of I know a lot about the 2 topics, but actually the reason's probably that I don't want to have those fights.
Of course.
Because I will have them and I don't really want to have them. And so that's the only reasons I don't. But I'll talk about money. I'll talk about other things, other sort of taboo topics. I commonly get referred to as building my business in public. And I think that's been a really inspiring piece for a lot of people, that I've shared all the ups and all the downs. I share a lot about my team, whereas I don't think teams get celebrated that often. Typically, leaders or entrepreneurs, CEOs often look at their employees as cost centers. Whereas for me, although they are very much a cost, they are also the only reason I have a business. And I actually really enjoy coming to work. I'd prefer to come to work than do just about anything else. Not just because I love doing the work, because this is my work, right? What we're doing right now, this is what I do all day. But I do actually like hanging out with my team and seeing them grow and watching them achieve stuff. So sharing that sort of stuff, all that sort of stuff helps me stand out. I don't think I'm unique in that. My viewpoint. I just think I'm unique in the one telling it publicly.
A lot of founders have shifted into this building in public, right? And it's growing their businesses, it's growing their profiles so much more because of how open you are, how honest, and people really connect to that, right? It's a big thing.
Oh, huge. I love it.
It just shows how honest, and then like people really fall in love with your story as well. People get really engaged.
Well, they see themselves in it, right? They see themselves in it. You either see yourself in that. So I have younger founders see themselves in me going, I want to be like that, or maybe not be like me, but I want to learn from what he's done and grow similar. I get older founders and owners and directors looking down at me going, he reminds me of me when I was young. And I get a lot of support from that demographic, like the sort of 50 plus guys who have been there, done that, crushed it. Didn't come up in a world where social media was a thing, so they couldn't have done what I did. But they've got like good PR games. People recognize them in business forums and stuff. So those guys kind of look down and go, no, he reminds me of me. So I get a lot of support from them. And then from like the general public, where they don't really get my world, but they understand how hard it must be and what we've done. And they see what I say about my team, that way that my team are promoting themselves, and they go, oh man, I wish I could work in an environment like that. And so I get a lot of support from that. But
I've been attending your personal brand workshops. There's a lot to learn. Can you break down that, how you write a post, that sort of structure?
I mean, it's the post structure. So the post structure you're talking about is like headline, subheading, challenge, and solution. It's not really rocket science. It's so like a headline that hooks people in. Its job is to get you to the subheading. Stop scrolling and get to the subheading. Subheading's job's to give you context to the headline so you understand what the process is about to be about, and then also get you to want to read the challenge. The challenge is what we call the head nodding section. That as you read it, you're nodding your head, you relate to it, you get it, you understand it, put yourself into the picture. And then the solution is this cathartic piece, which allows you to like leave the reader feeling like they got closure to whatever the discussion is. You don't necessarily have to solve the world's problems for them. You just have to resolve this conflict that happened inside your story. And if you can do that really well, that structure is the same in video, it's the same in movies, it's the same in books, whatever, which is essentially just saying that you have a setup, you have a beginning, middle, and an end to your story. Whereas a lot of people don't. They just have a list of events that happen, or lists of things that might have happened, or they just ramble and go back and forth because they haven't really thought about what they're trying to say. So if you just follow that structure without trying to break it, just use it, your posts will just do so much better than they were if you weren't following a structure prior to that. Or if you're finding it hard to articulate your thoughts in a certain way, use the structure to help you find that articulation. Yeah.
Were you always using this structure? Because you've been doing LinkedIn for a while, right? Before Attention Seeker, you're doing it for your hotel sort of stuff. Were you always using this structure?
Not really. I've always understood storytelling, I suppose. I've always been in and around it, just from watching, being really interested in film and television and books. I've always read a lot of books and whatnot. I didn't have words for it. The words the structure I probably developed after a year of being in business when we started to sell content as more of a service. When before we were doing more lead generation or, I don't know, stupid stuff that we're doing on LinkedIn prior to getting into personal branding. And then I sort of put words to it. And then as I put words to it, I then figured out, I didn't make this up. This is actually just a thing that's been happening for millennia.
I'm not a genius.
I'm not a genius, you know. I tend to do that a lot. Like I tend to figure things out that are actually just common knowledge. Like this is a random conversation, but one time when I first learned how to play guitar, I figured out this thing and I was playing it around. And I showed my mate, I was like, man, look at this thing I figured out. And I can do all this stuff. And he's like, oh yeah, that's called the pentatonic scale. Like it's one of the most famous scales of music, theory. And I was like, no, I figured it out. He's like, no, it's been known for millennia. You didn't figure it out. But I think what it talks to is I read a lot and I learn a lot from people, but I also just like to get in and break stuff, which is to your point about speed. I just like to break it, figure it out. And then I try to analyze what it is that I did and how did I get it to work. And so I did that with post structure. And then I found out it was a thing. And then I realized every single movie is on a 3x structure. Even songs have structure, everything has structure. Humans are pattern recognizing machines. And so we need these patterns to understand the flow of stuff. You can't just have a ramble. It doesn't work.
That's even with music. I make music, so it's the biggest songs all have a structure. Anyone could make music, you do it for fun, and there's no structure. But if you want a hit, it has to be a certain structure. And it kind of kills creativity in a way, but it's also how humans will perceive it, right?
I think the killing creativity is an interesting one because people often ask that about post structure. The point is that you're most creative when you put in restraints. Or constraints, I should say. So when you have constraints around your ability to create, you get more creative. If you've been given a white blank page to do whatever you want, you don't necessarily, if you've got no thing to overcome in your creativity, you won't be as creative. So when clients come to us and ask us for a pitch on something or whatever, a creative concept, I ask them for lots of constraints. Tell me all the things that are going to stop me. And a lot of young creators or a lot of young marketers will go, Damien isn't annoyed when the client says this thing or does this thing or has this and it gives this roadblock. And I was like, no, you want those things because those things, if you can overcome them, is what's going to make your creative campaign way better than everyone else's. You need those constraints. So the same thing at music. I mean, Ed Sheeran doesn't make bad music. He makes amazing music, but he makes it all to structure. He very rarely even breaks structure. The real great artist can break it. But you take Ed Sheeran, how many times has he broken structure?
No.
Almost never.
Or even any EDM music. It's also structured.
It's also structured. And it works because it is the right way to do it. It is what humans find pleasing and what we like. It doesn't mean you can't do a creative piece of expression. You take this piece of artwork on the wall here. It doesn't follow a lot of normal structure when it comes to design and whatnot. But the artist who made it, Roman, he is doing something a little different here where he's going to break it. He'll only appeal to a certain amount of people, but he's trying to push a narrative around what AI can do. And that's a thing, right? There's some expression, creative expression. That is a different thing to making content for the masses.
For the masses, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that actually puts in. What does this art say to you, by the way? I'm trying to figure it out.
You know, it's like a snow leopard just covered in blood from the attack that he's done.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where's the story?
Yeah.
Is there a hook?
Yeah. The hook is like, watch out. Yeah, watch out. It'll
Stands
get you.
right there.
It'll get you.
What was I going to say? Fuck, no.
Take your track now. You got to watch out, man. That snow leopard's going to get you. It's taking your track.
I got to watch my back.
Yeah.
You watch with me.
I'll watch you.
Thanks, man. All right, you've built a brand around attention.
Mm-hmm.
How important is attention in today's market?
I mean, it's everything, I think, actually. I think that, I think it's always been everything.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the more attention you've had in life, in history, the more successful you're going to be. Now, we live in a world where that competing for that attention is really hard now.
Yep.
There's a lot of noise out there, a lot of snow leopards, as they say. And we have to come out there after rights above that to try to find our little thing. The other bit I like about today's world is that because there's so much noise, we can find niches really nicely. You can find people who just like you for your little bit in the world. Whereas, you know, maybe 100 years ago, popular stuff was popular across everyone because there was less of it. But I think attention's been always important. I was actually I was listening to, I listen to it probably every day, but I was listening to the Hamilton musical album the other day, and I was, of Alexander Hamilton. Have you watched or listened to this? You should watch it. You'll like it. It'll be young, aspiring young men like yourself. Like, it's a real motivating.
What's it about?
It's about Alexander Hamilton. He was one of the founding fathers of the US.
Right.
And he helped write the Constitution of the America, right?
Gotcha.
The thing is that he was a prolific writer. He wrote more than just about everyone. He wrote all these essays. He wrote all the stuff about the Constitution and law and how to make the world it was. He was like in his early 20s when he did it. Like when he first started fighting in the war, he was 19.
Yeah.
Like he was in the 20s as a founding father. How old are you?
23.
Yeah, so he is your age, and he wrote the Constitution of America.
Crazy.
You know, he helped founded America, right?
Yes.
But one of the reasons why he was so successful in his career is because he put out so much content. He wrote all these essays, which most people didn't write a lot back then, and there wasn't a lot of places. So they were starving for content, for articles to read and whatnot, the people who could read. And he wrote prolifically, right? And so he rose to power when he probably shouldn't have. Like, he had too much power.
Yeah.
The reason is because he wrote so much, and he shared his ideas. He put so much out, and then people connected that to him, and he was able to communicate to a lot more people, right? And I think that same thing still applies today.
Yeah.
You put out so much, people connect with you, build an audience. And although there's a lot of noise out there, there's also a lot of like niching down that people, you know, we could all just look at Gary Vee and be like, oh, he's the big entrepreneur guy you follow.
Yeah.
And we all just follow.
Of course. Yeah.
But of course, like, I can niche down into a young entrepreneur in New Zealand as a Pacific Islander kid from Manadera, growing up poor, blah, blah, blah. I can do this bit.
Did you say young?
I mean, I can fight too, you know. I can fight as well.
Oh,
I got a good one too, you know. But you know, like, you can do that, and I will appeal to some people.
Yeah, of course.
You know,
yeah.
Like, I'm going to appeal to certain people that more than what Gary Vee will, because, you know, he's a young immigrant from when he started from Belarus in America. That's really hard for
the Pacific.
a young Samoan kid from Otara to, you know, look up to and be like, oh yeah, he's just like me. That's obviously not. So I think that's really interesting around attention. So I think it's huge. I think it's massive. I went in a massive long answer to say, yeah, it's really important.
That's why I want.
But yeah, that's it.
And from attention, like, you can get attention, but you kind of have to make it into something, right?
Yeah, I mean, of course, like, that's obvious, right? If you're going to get people's attention, what are you then going to do with it? And that's pretty, I think that's obvious for most people. Is that if I'm just going to get everyone's attention, how does that help me do what I want it to do? I think that's an irrelevant conversation, though, to have with entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs don't need to be told what to do with it. Like, they're going to do something with it, right? I think the bigger question is knowing that if you have the attention, something will happen from it. And as an entrepreneur, trust it.
Yeah.
A lot of entrepreneurs are often like too hungry and they're too desperate and they're too like in need for something to happen now, that they go get 1 million views and they're like, oh, so why isn't my business massive? Like, why aren't I a millionaire yet? I think they just have to understand, like, you just got to consistently get that attention over time and things will happen. They just will. Like, there's no way for it to not if you're an entrepreneur, because you'll know how to spot the opportunities and make the most of them. So I think that asking or saying, yeah, it's good one getting the attention, but you got to be able to do something with it. It's like, of course, that's the whole point. If you were just some person out in the street getting attention for being an idiot, and you're not an entrepreneur by heart, you don't really care for it, you've got no goals with it, then yeah, you're just getting attention for the sake of it.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're talking to those people. And I think the type of people you and I talk to, or people who might watch this, if I have to tell them what to do with that attention, they should probably quit now. Like, no offense, but you should probably just quit. Because if you don't understand, like, when opportunities arise, how to capture those opportunities, and you might miss some, I get it, I've missed some, but for the most part, you know how to grab those opportunities. You're in the wrong game.
Yeah.
Like, you're not an entrepreneur. Like, and you might be, you just might not be ready yet. So go back, learn some more, go work with some other people, learn some business skills, like understand how to break these problems down. Don't underestimate the effort it takes to learn some of these things. But yeah, like, for anyone asking, okay, so don't just piss into the wind, like do something with it. I mean, you're just saying the wrong stuff. Like, you're just the wrong person for this. You should just know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one thing you do is build community, which you say is one of the most important things, right? How can someone build their own community in a way that's beneficial towards not just them, but the people that are in that community?
Yeah. So Mel, our head of community management in our team, she says something really interesting, which I don't often say it enough, and I should, but is that you can't actually build a community. You can only attract them. So you can only attract, like, communities exist, and we have to earn the right for their attention. I don't build a community of marketers, let's say I did. The marketers were already there. And to be honest, a lot of them probably already knew each other and whatnot. All I've done is given them a place to belong, or I've given them a place to show up or give their attention to. I think that's a real good distinction, because you don't own the community.
Yeah.
You can't just like build and be like, oh, look at my community. None of those guys said to you, oh yeah, you own me.
What about like these podcasters, they have their own communities? What's different in that?
Which way, sorry? Say it again.
So like, you know, like big YouTubers or big creators, they have their own sort of community.
Yep.
Is that their community, or is that something that everyone has the same interest and they've found a place?
Yeah, I think it's that they've got similar interests. The similar interest might be the creator that they've got and they put them. But I think for most people, I think what I'm trying to say is, for most people, you aren't those big creators. And what you should be really looking at is, rather than trying to build a community, you should be trying to attract one, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
The big guys, when they were small, no one cared about them, of course. They didn't have these communities. They built over time where celebrities become the topic. You know what I mean? Like, you can have a community for Mr. Beast's followers now that he's big.
Yeah.
You couldn't have had that 7-8 years ago, because what would that be? But you could have a community for instance, Mr. Beast 8 years ago for aspiring YouTubers. You could have had that community. He couldn't have necessarily built it, but what he could have done is create an environment where they want to come and be part of.
Yeah.
And it's semantics. Like, you're getting into like wordplay here. But I think for a lot of people, when they're talking about this stuff, they should think that way. Don't assume you can build a community. Just understand, and it's actually easier. Like, you understand the community's already there.
Yeah.
Just go find them, add value to them, give them something to care about. If I think about like some of the communities that we've been part of or we've been building, I'm not necessarily like, I don't know if I, in my head, really think of it as building. I just think of like, what if I just create an opportunity for these people to get here? Like Increment Club, that stuff you come into. Like, I'm not trying to like build a community as a membership base or anything. I'm just trying to go like, I know there's all these young, ambitious kids out there. What if we just put them in a room, gave them something cool to do? Would they come? And I think that's more powerful, but also it's a little bit more respectful of your community as well. Now, look, again, it's semantics. You could say I'm building a community. It applies. I still say it sometimes. I just think it's a nice reframe for people who are in the beginning stages of trying to build a community. What if you just went, hey, that community over there, I want to activate them. And actually what's really good about that is there's probably someone else who's already built it, and you can just go and sweep in and attract them, right? And so you just got to be part of it.
It's kind of like you're building towards a message rather than you as a person or you as a creator, right?
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah. But a lot of these online communities are becoming massive now for creators, right? Because I feel like a lot of young people that are on social medias, they want a place to belong. We're scrolling, we want something to feel a part of, which is where these communities have really grown. And especially the death of a follower, right? The algorithms change so much. Following doesn't really mean anything. So it gives these creators a chance to own that sort of community in a way.
Yeah, I think you've got to be careful in that people always want to belong. Always. It's human nature to want to belong. We're social animals. I think you've got to make sure that you're seeing it for is it a community or an email list? Like a part of a funnel.
Yeah.
A lot of these big creators, some of them are really good at it, and others, it's a money thing. They're driving them through a funnel list, which is nothing wrong with that. Nike has an emailing list. You could call that the Nike community if you wanted to.
Yeah.
I guess where I say you're talking about people want to belong, the death of a follower, like you need other places. I think the biggest thing here is that you need to be able to put people in a room or get them to do something for you physically.
Yeah.
That shows you the strength of a community and how much they're aligned to you and your agenda as well. Like at the moment, our biggest driver as a business isn't how many followers we gain, how many views we get, it's how many people we can put in a room. That's our primary goal at the moment. And the reason for it is what you're saying, that people do want to belong, they want connection, they want to hang out with each other. Content is everywhere. We know we can make good content, but what is it for? That conversation for me is, well, I want to be able to beat technology and AI into the future. And the best way to beat it is like just have people in real life, rather than just watching me online. So I don't really have a strong answer there. Like, I believe in communities. I think they're great.
I'm a
little cynical about it.
Yeah.
I'm a little cynical about people building big ones, but I'm also trying to do it myself.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think that's different online community to in-person community that you're building, right?
Yeah.
Online communities mostly are for benefit of the creator.
Yeah.
In terms of...
That's why I say I'm a little bit cynical, because so was an in-person one. I'm just not directly selling. Maybe later on I will.
Yeah.
I think I'm both cynical about them, but also super positive about them. I think they all, take them all for a grain of salt as people looking in.
Yeah.
I think that if you're, if you're authentic and true about it, then you'll build it. You'll build and attract the right type of people. I think for me, I have to always be mindful of like, how much am I selling to these people? How much am I helping them?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a hard one, but
what's the ratio going to be?
Yeah, I don't know. We're selling pretty hard at the moment to them. Not all of it necessarily for money, but selling for their time. There's time's more valuable than the money anyway. But we're selling pretty hard at the moment to see how far we can push it. 3 or 4 events a week, as you know, plus other things that we're doing. I don't know. It seems to be going all right so far. We're not getting in trouble too much, but just trying to push that as hard as possible to see like where is the breaking point for people and are they actually interested? And to be honest, nah, they're not. Like our community and our fan base isn't great at getting in person.
Right.
At the moment, we've still got a bit of work to do. So we're trying to figure that out at the moment. But like you said before, I move fast. So I'm just running all these things, all the different ways I can activate them.
Yeah.
And I think the reason for it is that like most people follow us for entertainment and we're running in not entertaining things. So yeah.
But I went to the run club and we had a girl from Hawaii that just turned up the day before. And she's saying how she's watching your content. That's why she came.
Yeah.
That put a big smile on your face, right?
That was quite cool.
That was sick.
She'd been watching us for like a couple of years or something. Yeah, that sort of stuff's cool. Like, and I think that's part of the reason it's been hard for us to get people in a room is less than 5% of our audience is New Zealand.
Yes.
And then only 1% of that is Auckland, or 2% of it is Auckland. Most of it's the US, Canada, UK. So it's quite hard to get those people in the room when you're doing the room in Auckland. So yeah, when I saw people like her turn up who knew us, knew everything about us, have been watching since day dot, that was quite cool.
Personal brand, it's so important these days, right? Do you think it's almost as important as a CV for someone that's coming out of uni?
Oh, it's way more important than a CV. What is a CV if it's not just a written down version of your brand? You know, it's like a
piece of paper.
You know what it is? Like the CV is kind of like you put your personal brand in ChatGPT and you go, can you summarize this for me? That's what it is, right? It's a summary of your brand, right? That's all a CV is. It's like, can you make this more succinct?
Yeah.
You know, that's what you're doing. I mean, I don't look at CVs. I might look at your experience on LinkedIn when you apply to just be like, have they had some experience, relevant stuff? I'm going to judge the person for them. I think I'm not the norm though. I think a lot of people will look at CVs. I think HR will look at it. I think if you're applying for big agencies or big business enterprise level, they have AI systems that will scan your CV to make sure you got the relevant experience. So don't dismiss them. But if you've got a big, strong personal brand, it's going to put you through the door way faster than a CV will anyway.
Yeah.
I just think that don't just listen to me say don't worry about your CV because like a lot of people do want them.
Yeah.
But it is just a summary of what your personal brand is.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of like young people today who are going down the career path, you have to build a strong personal brand if you are ambitious because your CV is not going to get you through the door. Either your relationships with people will get you through because that's still super powerful, right? Or maybe dad's relationships might get you through. But if you don't have that relationship thing, if you're new to the industry or new to the world, or you just didn't grow up in a world where you're privileged enough to know people in the right places, then your personal brand's going to have to help you open those doors.
Yeah.
Very rarely are you going to get through on a CV, especially if you live in a country with one set of names. Like imagine you trying to apply next to me and our two names in Auckland. Just the fact that they can read my name easily because they know what it is going to open the door way faster. Those biases exist and you shouldn't take them for granted. And a lot of people shouldn't take them for granted. So there's lots of reasons you're not going to get your foot in the door.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know, it sucks, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's true, right?
Yeah.
Not because people are racist
or anything.
It's nothing. It's just
human behavior. It's just.
Well, you know how hard your job is, right? Every time we work, it's hard.
Yeah.
Life sucks. It's hard as working long hours. That HR person, they're the same. Their job sucks. They're working long hours. They're 12 hours deep. They're having to go through 1,000 CVs. What are they going to do? They're going to do it the easiest way possible. If that HR manager's name's Rachel, which one of our names is she going to know more than the other?
Of course.
You know what I mean? That's just the thing that happens. But I don't think people realize that. I think people look at enterprises or they look at businesses and like, you should be perfect. You should be able to assess us all evenly and individually and whatever. And it's like, do you know the pressures that are on me
as a human being?
As a human being? Like, Rachel might have had a breakup last night. Do you think he gives a fuck about your application? Nah. But with a personal brand, Rachel might know you already from watching your content and be like, look, I can't pronounce his name, but I'm going to get him in anyway. And I know that's a bit crazy to say, but it's true. That's how people work. It's what we went back to at the start, right? It's human behavior. Just play into the human behavior. Like once you understand that human behavior is a thing and we just roll into patterns, then you can hijack those patterns for your benefit.
Yeah. I think, understanding those patterns has been massive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being realistic about it. Stop being idealistic about how humans behave. Humans aren't ideal creatures.
Yeah.
We're like messy. We hate things. We love stuff. We let emotions get in the way. You know, I can be hungry. Like I haven't had lunch yet. I'm starving. And if someone pissed me off right now, I'd tell them to fuck off. You know? You do the same thing to me at 1 o'clock after lunch.
Yeah.
I'd laugh.
Yeah.
How do you know when they're going to read your CV?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you don't know.
Yeah.
So by building all of that up and understanding the human behavior that humans are messy, you can hijack that and help yourself have a better chance.
Why do you think university is not teaching this? And like they're so far behind.
You know what? Actually, I used to think the same. I've done a lot of talks at uni saying this stuff. It's there now. Auckland University does a personal branding course. a number of their faculties. One of their courses in personal branding in the business school, the 50%, I think it is, of the course marks are based on a LinkedIn profile development assessment, right?
Right.
Where they got to build their LinkedIn profile, start posting content, and start putting stuff out there.
Yeah.
So you're right, they never used to, but in the last few years, it's become a thing. And I'm super stoked with it.
Yeah.
I went and talked to one of the business schools, and I was in the class that was doing it. There's only like 25 people in this paper.
Yeah.
And because it's quite new. And my advice to everyone who goes to Auckland Uni, and if you're listening to this, go do that paper because it's so good. Like, one, they get to hear from these industry professionals who are telling you the same shit that I'm telling you. But also, you're going to school, and at school you got a bunch of experts around you helping you build your personal brand. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, so good. It's funny enough though that like still a lot of them fail. Like they're not. Well, I shouldn't say they fail, but they're just not doing the level that they should.
What do you mean in terms
Like
of
in posting content and whatnot and putting their brand out there, people still have the same insecurities they have
of course.
otherwise. But I think unis are catching up. I don't know if globally they are, but definitely in Auckland, which is really promising to see. I'd be the first to bang out a university, like, and they've paid me money, lots of money in the universities, and I bag them out all the time. But they love it because they're like, no, you're right. Like, we should be doing this sort of stuff. But they are. They are. And I would definitely say these universities are useless, but they're not. They're actually doing really good stuff at the moment.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, because it wasn't. It wasn't.
Well, I only finished last year.
Yeah. Which one did you go to?
I went to Vic.
Oh, yeah, I went to Vic. Sure. I mean,
yeah, I can't. Yeah.
I mean, it's Wellington, right? So
exactly. I'm glad I'm out of there. Anyone young, aspiring founder, how do you deal with, you have an idea, but you're in an environment where you feel like you can't go after it fully. You feel pressure from every sort of angle you could. How do you get over that hurdle?
I mean, it really depends on the person and what they got. But like, I mean, why would you have that? Like are you talking like parents or?
Yeah, parents, you're in a job as well.
I mean, when you're young, my advice would be, I mean, this is terrible advice, but my advice would just be, fuck it, who cares? Like, what's anyone going to do?
Yeah.
Like, you're so young, you can just make the mistake. I was a drunk in my whole of my 20s, an alcoholic drunk. I did nothing with my life. I was useless. Yeah, okay, I had a pretty decent career growing up through hospitality, but let's be honest, like, I didn't do much long-term planning. I grew my career because, like, I understand business, I understand people and whatnot, and I can do that, but like, I was a drunk. I was an alcoholic, right? Which is why I don't drink now. And I did that for 10, 12, 15 years, whatever it was. And then I started this business. And I mean, I'm not necessarily the fastest growing business in the world, but we're doing all right. So if you're 22, 23, and you're worried about what people are going to say, if you're going to mess up, if you're going to fucking burn it all to the ground or whatever, you're still going to be ahead of me.
Yeah.
Like, when I was 23, I was a drunk. I was never sober. I couldn't function. I was an idiot. You know what I mean? So if you're worried about people going to think of me poorly or whatever, blah, 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 it's like, at least you tried. At least you did something, I did nothing. I was useless. And then people look up to me now and, oh man, you've done so well. I was like, yeah, but I started at 32.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's still young. Don't get me wrong. Colonel Sanders is 60 something when he started. But people look at me going, oh man, that's so good. And it's like, yeah, but I wasted my entire 20s. Like, I did lots of cool stuff. Don't get me wrong.
Do you look back and do you regret it, or do you think like, I wouldn't take it back?
If I could do it again, I would.
You would do it again.
I wouldn't do it.
Exactly.
The only reason I, like, it's a non-event because it can't happen. But the only thing I would be, that I know wouldn't happen if I did it all over again, is I wouldn't have found Claire.
Yeah.
And like, that's why I would never do it again, because I love what I have with Claire. And so for that reason, I wouldn't do it again. But if I could actually go back and tell my 14-year-old self when he first started drinking at parties, like, you don't need to do this. You're way cooler when you're sober. people will like you more when you don't drink, I would do it. Like the amount of money, relationships, time, effort that I wasted on drinking when I was young, like drinking to oblivion, like I was alcoholic level, right? It was just stupid, so dumb. And because of it, I just like put a handbrake on a lot of things. And I used it as a way to not commit to anything. And so I wouldn't give it up because of Claire. But if she wasn't in the picture, 100% I regret it. 100% I regret drinking the way I did. It was so dumb. I'm paying for it now.
Yeah.
You know, both with my health and also where I'm at in life. Now, I'm not nowhere. Like, I get it. I understand my privilege and where I'm at. But man, like, I'd be a whole different place if I wasn't abusing substances like that. And I think for a lot of young people, you don't even have to be that extreme. You just have to be like, you're doing nothing because of fear of other people or all this other crap. I just give it a go. Like, what's the worst that can happen? You fuck around for 5 years and then you hit 30, but you haven't wasted your whole life to alcohol and other crap. You haven't burned all these relationships and hurt people. Instead, you've just not cracked it. Just give it a go. Honestly, what actually is the worst that can happen?
No.
Nothing. You're not going to die. I mean, if your goal is to jump off buildings and try to live from the fall, then yeah, you're done. But like without doing extreme things like that, if you're just trying to get business a crack or your career a crack, I want the worst that can happen.
I love that saying you say, you're not going to die.
You're not going to die. You're just not, right? Like, I grew up listening to Tupac a lot, right? And if there's any message I can take away from Tupac is that he would talk about that, like how the sun will rise tomorrow. Like, I'm not going to start rapping on this thing, but like, nah, definitely not. But like, you know, like, it will, like that. And I grew up with that sort of positive. I mean, you wouldn't really think Tupac being positive mindset, but like he did. He would talk a lot about like, if you just rise tomorrow, like the sun will always rise tomorrow. It always comes up. As bad as it can get today, as dark as it feels, the sun will come up tomorrow. And as long as you can live to fight another day, you'll win. That's it. That's the story. That's the whole goal. Just live to fight another day and you'll win. The best businesses in the world aren't the ones who did the best things. They're the ones who survived. The ones who lived and fought another day. So always make sure you can fight another day. And if you can, you will win.
Stanley, thank you so much for taking the time. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Cheers.
Oh,
fuck, my leg is asleep.
Yeah, same, eh? It's these cheers, eh? I've never sat in them for an hour. Hey, you're young, mate. What are you doing?
Fuck.
I'll take away.
We're both young, mate.
We're both young. Don't you forget that.